Good evening, friends. This is Sanjay Kumar from Talking Films Online, also known as TFO. TFO was founded almost on a whim by Professor Nikhila from the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, and Baroda-based novelist Geeta Viswanath in June 2022 during the lockdown. Since then, TFO has had uninterrupted discussions on films from all over the world every Saturday at 9 p.m. on Zoom. It's a group of film scholars, researchers, students, teachers, and anyone passionate about cinema. It has been our practice to invite people to select and lead the discussion of the chosen film, which we watch in our own time and place. On some occasions, filmmakers, editors, and cinematographers have also joined our sessions. Aparna Sen, Amol Palekar, Girish Kasaravali, and Adur Gopalakrishnan, to name a few. We have held film festivals such as East European, Iranian, Women's Cinema, and others. In the month of June, each year to celebrate our anniversary, we hold a smartphone short filmmaking contest for students and a lecture series in various university departments. In September 2024, we held our first offline event, an international seminar on Indian cinema in the digital era, continuities and discontinuities, in collaboration with FCT Baroda. So today we are going to discuss a French film, The battre, coeur, c'est arrêté. In English, translated as The Beat My Heart Skipped, 2005, the year of release. The film was suggested by Sunaina. Sunaina is assistant professor in French, Department of Foreign Languages, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, Punjab. She has also done her MA and MPhil in French from JNU Delhi. She was formerly a casual announcer and translator French at All India Radio, Delhi. So now I invite Sunaina to initiate the discussion, and after her presentation, the floor will be open for comments, observations, questions, and other reactions, reflections on the film. Over to you, Sunaina.
Thank you so much, Sanjay Kumar sir, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank TFO, Nikhila ma'am, Geeta ma'am for adding me to this group and for giving me an opportunity to talk about a film which is very close to my heart. This is The battre, coeur, c'est arrêté. So this film actually has a history in my life. Why did I choose this movie? Firstly, because it has been me for the past 10 years. It has been my favorite French film for the past 10 years. And because I started my studies of French in 2012, and in 2013 or 14, I saw this movie at Alliance Française de Delhi. And since then, I've been a fan of this movie. I don't know why. For me, it's a motivational movie. It's not just a film noir. It's a motivational movie for me. And then I named this movie during the interview of JNU also, and during the interview of DU also, DU MA entrance and JNU MA entrance. So these movies hold a lot of significance for me in my personal life. And so let's start with the analysis, my own analysis. Though I'm not an expert in cinema, but I would like to give it a shot because I've been a cinephile and a francophile all my life. So, so basically, what I saw in this movie was that this movie is a lot about past traumas, childhood traumas, because the first scene itself talks about a man who is an adult, and he is expressing his grievances regarding his childhood, his past traumas, with the main actor who is Roma Duri. So he is discussing with him the past traumas he has been through because of his father, and the way this man deals with the trauma of his colleague, so-called colleague, is recommendable. And it also reminds me of Sigmund Freud and his chair, and the way he is Sigmund Freud has used psychoanalysis as a therapy. So this movie is reflective of so many traumas which are associated to our family lives, and how or whether we are able to overcome them or not. And this is also a clash between civility and animality. So because there are a lot of signs given in this movie where the hero is wearing a shirt, and he's actually wearing a leather jacket which is black in color, and beneath it there is a shirt which has white and black stripes. So basically it's an odd combination for a costume, because here on the outside we are showing to be a macho man, we are showing him to be a macho man, but inside there's a civility hiding. So I found that to be very intriguing. And also there are a lot of signs and symbols of roads, cars, and there's a lot of travel involved in this movie. So basically, for according to me, this is a journey from darkness to light. So in school we use, in my school, which was a convent educated school, a convent school, we hear this poem, or that lead, this phrase for called lead me from darkness to light. So this is what life is all about. So we have to go from darkness to light, from tamas to rajas to sattva. So I think this journey is very well reflected in the movie. This is also film noir because here symbols like cigar are prevalent, cigarettes and cigars, and their fumes are visible in the movie. And then there is a lot of chiaroscuro, darkness, a lot of darkness and light, a lot of contrast between darkness and light, which reflects the moral ambiguity of the characters. And there is a lot of soft lights as well. Street lights are very soft, so you can see that all is not dark in this movie. There is always a ray of hope lurking behind. And I also saw that behind the facade of machismo, there is a child behind every man, lurking beneath every man. So there is, and there is, for example, the man who was consulting the hero in the beginning, he plants rats even though he's scared of them. So this shows the trauma, that he is always reliving the trauma, reinventing the trauma, even though he does not want to. So the real question is whether a man can overcome his childhood trauma or not, or does he succumb to it. So, and also there is a little bit of misogyny in the movie. For example, Snake or his mother. So there is a dialogue that is he planting, he should plant snakes instead, or his mother. So here mothers are being um, um, uh, 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 put against snakes, which is I find, which I find initially is very derogatory, but later on this image of females in the movie changes. And this is also a journey, the kind of women which are shown initially and the kind of opinion people have of them, it gradually changes. So that is also a kind of improvement in the life of the actor. Then you have his civility is dominated by his father's wildness. So this character is has civility lurking somewhere beneath his persona of a macho man, but it is dominated by his father's criminal past and by his own criminal past. So his he finds solace at night on the road and in his car with music playing. So music is a medium of self-expression for him, I believe. And he is always crossing roads, to move from one situation, from one phase of his life to another. For example, he is always crossing roads to move from his good life to his bad life, then back again. So he is always moving back and forth as far as the his life is concerned. So he's always in a dilemma. There is no clarity, and he has a lot of determination to make something good out of himself, but he is always pulled back by his past. So this character is very interesting in my eyes. And initially he is known as Robert's father, but after that he is known as Le Fils de Sonia. So here the mother's role becomes important. So it becomes a healer in his life, and the music she has left behind in his life and its memories start playing a greater role in his life. So initially, I was talking about his costume. So the jacket is gone. In the second half, it is a mark of civility, overpowering animality. And then there is a lot of movement, swinging back and forth in his chair, contemplating whether he should go on with his music career or he should focus on his life as a broker. So the book itself in which his notes are written is black and white. So everything is black and white here, right? Um, and then there is also a personality clash between his father and him. There is distance between them, even though he loves him a lot. Whenever they are sitting in a restaurant, we see that uh, the table is divided into by a lot of glasses, wine glasses and others. And sometimes initially they are empty, and the next time they meet, they are filled with wine or half filled with wine. So this shows that there is a division between the father and the son. And then there are glass panes which become blurry when the son is attracted back to his past. Otherwise, they are clear. And there are also glass pane of the car, glass pane of buildings. So they also become hazy and blurry when he is in company of his criminal colleagues. And then what is very difficult for him, I feel for him, because he is always torn between uh, machismo and aggression and softness. So the woman teaching him piano wants him to become very soft while playing the piano, whereas his colleagues demand him to become very aggressive during their fights with other criminals or other stakeholders. So this juggling between the two roles, he is actually leading a dual life, and this becomes very difficult for him to handle. So I feel very sorry for him that he is going through a lot of mental trauma during this time. And then at the end, his music overpowers his past, and he is practicing even while waiting in the car for his colleagues to return. So what is interesting is that after a span of 2 years, he is able to complete, and after the death of his father, he's able to redeem himself completely. He's able to change his life for the better completely, and he is treated with respect. He's called Mr. Sayre, and he has a Chinese girlfriend. He becomes tolerant towards migrants and the ones he was expelling from their makeshift home in the beginning of the movie. And now she also learns French, and they both speak French fluently. So there is a lot of um, uh, there is a lot of togetherness, and they have overcome together all the struggles they were faced with. And he doesn't kill Minskov. He does, which is a surprise to me. I would like to believe that he doesn't kill Minskov, and this is what overcoming his trauma is all about. He did have the opportunity to go back to his past, to his criminal life, but he moved on. He we can say that he finally arrived, and he overcame his personal trauma. And I have also written, this is what I saw today in the movie, and in the past also, I wrote an article on this movie. It is known as Redemption of the Film Noir Hero Case Study, the battre, coeur, arrêté, of Jacques Audiard. So in this paper also, I discussed the challenges he faced as a piano player, and this articles the delved further into the choices he made. So I analyzed this movie from the aspect of a film noir, and how our hero is not a typical film noir hero. Even though this film is touted to be a film noir hero, he is not a typical film noir hero. Why do we think so? First of all, basically, some examples are that he is a healer, first of all. Secondly, the sequence I told you about, in which he is talking to his friend and cajoling him, and I mean sympathizing with him, and he has a golden heart. And then, even in this movie full of darkness, there is light has been used in a very soothing manner, and as if there is light at the end of the tunnel. And then also, there are various props used. For example, a lot of glasses have been used, which are used typically for the fragmentation of ego, or in order to show the sinister aspect of a personality. But in this movie, it has been shown to show the bright side of the character's personality. For example, there is a scene where there is Le Jardin de Soir. So he enters the restaurant, and then he sees himself in this mirror which has Le Jardin de Soir written on it. So, which I feel that he has, which shows his alter ego, and which shows that he has improved his life. Then the way the scenes shot in dark, night for night, changes for daylight scenes, which is very important. It shows how light has creeped into the darkness of his life. So this is also very important, according to me, how most of the shots which were shot during night time are replaced by shots which are taken during the daytime. So I think that this is a film noir movie which gives us hope that it is possible for us to overcome our personal traumas. And it has a lot of technical aspects which are commendable. For example, you have medium shots. Most of the time the shots taken are medium shots, because it is showing interpersonal relationships and their struggles. There are hardly any long shots, but these medium shots and close-ups are extremely effective in conveying the message Jacques Audiard wants to convey. And I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Jacques Audiard sir for the wonderful work he has been doing, and the awards he has been winning. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sunaina, for this very enriching and compelling analysis. And in fact, for me, it was the first time that I watched a film of Jacques Audiard, though I had heard a lot about this director. And really, I was, very impressed that you talked about psychoanalysis, the darkness and light, the shift from the animality to civility and so many subtle aspects which even I couldn't notice in my first viewing of this film. So I am sure that there are lots of ideas to share about this film, and we are opening the discussion now for the public, the participants who are here. So is anyone interested in starting?
Can I come in?
Yes, Geeta, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sunaina, for that analysis. And for me, I thought the highlight of the film was its sheer intensity. Like it is filled with intensity. Every moment, every action, and every expression of the characters, it's all so intense and gripping. So that was something that really struck me about the film. And of course, being a music lover, it was nice to see the person moving from crime to music. So, music as this ennobling, almost as if it was a spiritual moment for him, to switch to a career in music. And the way it happened also, through sheer serendipity. So almost as if it was designed, it was destined for him that way, to pull him out of this life of crime and that's also a shift in a way from the father figure to the mother figure. And this film is actually a remake of an American film called Fingers. And so even there in that film, you have this this divide between the father and the mother, where the father is that debt collector, and the mother is a pianist. In that film, of course, the mother is still living, but here she has been dead for many years. So so that shift from a life of crime to music also is indicative of this movement, from the father, whom he, of course, dearly loves, uh, but moving towards the mother as his model, his role model in life. And of course, you have already spoken eloquently about, the cinematography and the chiaroscuro and all of that. So I don't want to add to it. But yeah, those are, especially the play of, light and shade is very striking in the film. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Sunaina, would you like to say something about the observation of Geeta?
I think it's very profound, sir. I think music has played a very important role. Nowadays, we have music therapy as well. So
Yes.
I think music can definitely heal one if one gives it a try. And it can definitely, instead of going towards smoking, which is also used in this
Yes.
movie very heavily as a prop, so it's better to go towards music as a de-stressing element. Yeah.
Yeah, this Chinese piano teacher, she stops him from smoking when he goes to her flat. And I really like this point of the ennobling effect of music, where, towards the end, he could have killed, as you said, that mafia person, but he doesn't do that. Yes, Nikila. Yes, sure.
Thanks, Sunaina, for suggesting this film. And also, from your discussion, it was very clear that this film, you must have watched it several times. because in one viewing, when everything passes in a blur, we just didn't notice so many things. And I must go back to the film in the light of what you have said, to notice some of the frames and particularly, what certain aspects within the mise-en-scène signify, like the glass that you spoke and the costuming and so on. It is, to me, the first introduction to his passion for music comes when he asks his father to listen to the headphones, and it just seems like, some kind of a stress buster for a young man. But the way in which slowly it becomes a kind of consuming passion for him, and in such a in such an unexpected manner, there's everything that seems to suggest that this is a very different, the world of art, the world of dedicated practice, performance. They all seem so very far away from the kind of life that he's leading. So what I liked very much about the film is the struggle to, it's a struggle to get away, but also it's not easy to extricate himself. There are compelling, ties, including that of his father. So all that comes out wonderfully well in the film. Also, the piano playing itself and the movement of hands, as you mentioned, the suppleness as opposed to the hardness and the masculinity that is demanded of his other life. A lot of emphasis is placed on the suppleness of his fingers, and he even dreams about his suppleness and while playing the piano and so on. Something that I didn't really get in the end, maybe because of the translation, or maybe because I didn't pay enough attention. So what is the resolution of the film? So is the Chinese girl now the performer? Does he take a back seat? I didn't quite get it. So does he pursue in playing at all, or does he just allow her or support her as a performer? I was just wondering what you made of it, Sunaina, because I think at some point in the end, the subtitles didn't work. So I didn't quite know what was happening. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Regarding this last scene, they actually become a couple. So initially I had my doubts about it, but then this time in this viewing, I'm quite sure that they become a couple. And then he is himself playing piano. So he becomes a piano player, and he manages her shows as well, because you remember the scene in which he is playing the piano, and then he is telling the person in the studio to not let anybody come on the stage. So obviously he has also brushed up his skills as a piano player, and he's at the same time managing her life as her career as a piano player. So I think he has not only, I love the way, ma'am, he has changed his partner. He was earlier cheating in a relationship. Now he has changed his partner. He has, there's a 60-degree overhaul. So I love that 180-degree overhaul. So I love it.
And also, as you said, that he was against immigrants, that, along with his friends or business partners, he has been beating and harassing these immigrants. And then finally, he finds someone, who is Chinese, and she doesn't speak French even initially. And then he starts teaching her, and He also learns a little of Chinese, as in one of the scenes I saw. So it seems that even they are trying to bridge the gap, the linguistic gap uh, between the Chinese and the French.
Yes,
So
sir.
that was,
You
yes.
have a reason, sir. I mean, vous avez raison, monsieur. And I think that this aspect is very important. The tolerance towards migrants is very important, I feel, because nowadays the intolerance towards migrants is increasing by leaps and bounds, not only within our country, but outside as well. So I believe that I was born and brought up in Bihar, then I went to Delhi, then I came back to Punjab. So I have seen so many cultures, so I have become very tolerant, and I have gone beyond Punjab, and now this ethnocentricity does not please me anymore. I find it very prevalent in this area that Punjabi this, Punjabi that. No offense to my own region, I love my region, my own religion and everything, but we should look beyond it, and we should be willing to learn and to grow. This is very important.
Yes. Anyone else?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
you can hear me?
Oh, Fabienne.
Yes, this is
Okay.
Fabienne.
Yes, Fabienne. Carry
Yeah,
on.
thank you very much for showing this French film from Audiard. And I think it was very interesting. The introduction by Sunaina is very interesting because she noticed straight away the main subject is ambivalence of the character of this young man who starts as a street fighter, not street fighter, but he's a fighter in his job. Although he doesn't belong to the mafia, it's legal. I mean, he buys properties in Paris to make some benefits. So he, because he's buying on the limits of legality, his properties are often taken by squatters and are squattered by migrants. So he's at the legal, at the limit, at the edge of legality, but he's not really what we would say a delinquent. I don't know in English, a delinquent. A bad
Delinquent, the same
a
thing.
delinquent. He's not a delinquent, but he's at the edge. And his father is even more. His father is very vulgar. His French is very vulgar. And Niels Arestrup has just died. He died recently. He was a very great actor. Although I didn't like it, I didn't like his personality because he was very violent, and he has always very violent roles. And the father is worse than him, and the music saves him from this kind of violence with the medium of this young Chinese woman who's a musician like him, who educates and push him to recover his softness. And the way Audiard talks, the way Audiard speaks from this shift is by filming hands. I don't know if you noticed, but as I do film myself and I do the images myself, I'm I have a lot of attention on what image you put. And the image of the hands are coming more than 100 times in the film. And it is sometimes wounded hands because the guy had fights with his mates, with his colleagues, or absolutely beautiful feminine hands just flying over the piano. So there is this opposition of rude hands and completely soft and artistic hands playing piano, which that you will find from the beginning of the film to the end. And the actor Duris is always playing with his hands. In France, not like in Italy, we don't speak with our hands sometimes, but it is not a cultural habit in the French population to speak with hands like in Italy. In Italy, it is clear that if you don't use your hands, you're not Italian. But in France, we do not. And the actor is always moving his hands. Even at the beginning of the films, when he talks, his hands is always moving. And I found that what Audiard wanted to express through the hands could summarize the film, which is ambivalence of a man who, little by little, progressively, escaped from his manhood and masculinity, toxic masculinity, to his own softness, which is a shift, as it was said previously, from father side to mother side. So I don't really think that it's a misogynist film. At the contrary, the film shows that femininity is the thing that saves this guy from his toxic masculinity. So this is maybe the way I understood this film, but it's a very interesting thing, the way it is constructed. The way the narration, the walking narration is constructed is really interesting. So thank you for choosing these films, Sunaina, and I really enjoyed looking at this film today. I just finished. I just looked at the film few minutes ago, and yeah, it's a beautiful film.
Thank you so much, Fabian. I'm a big fan of yours because I saw Self Fiction, half of it, and I was very impressed by the theme, beauty and age. I think it was very interesting of you to make a movie on this, because as we are aging, when we are young, as women, we are really valued for our beauty. But as we are aging, then we start questioning what is real beauty all about. So I think this is a very important movie which you made recently, and I don't think that this is a misogynist film, but initially the representation of women is uh, different from the way. It's also a journey. The journey from presenting the representation of women in a negative light, and then slowly the
I
representation changes, and women are also shown to be different and in a better light. So I feel everything is here, everything in this movie is a movement and it's a journey. So in that way, I was talking that initially it's like when the woman who is supposed to be uh, Robert's future wife, she is called a slut by his son, but then she comes up and says that, see, I'm not a slut, I'm not a whore. So I love
yeah.
the way she stands up for herself, and the way I love the way the migrant is shown in this movie, because uh, it helps she helps Roma see a side of him which was very suppressed. So at times when we meet a migrant, we come across certain aspects of our personality come out which were hidden or suppressed. So I love that about this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sunaina, for responding. Murli Krishnan sir has raised his hand. And yes, sir, please go on, sir.
Thank you. At the outset, I thank Sunaina for a good presentation on this film.
Thank
Uh,
you, sir.
and now, I think earlier I watched Jack Audio's film, Emilia Perez, which is making buzz. as far as the nomination for Oscar award is concerned. And this film has also won the jury prize at the Cannes Film Festival. So, due to some reasons, I could watch only 60 to 65% of this film. So, what one issue was striking was the use of music in both these films. Of course, I have not been able to see the other films directed by uh, Jack Adia, but I think he has got a deep connection with that music, and because Emilia Perez itself can be clubbed under the category of musical noir, if I can term it so. So it's a very interesting aspect of this director's what do you call journey as far as filmmaking is concerned. I think it's close. His journey is closely intertwined with music. So thanks, Sunaina. I will revisit the film again at one stretch. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for talking about the effect of music in the film. In fact, even the other film, Fingers, after which this film has been made as a remake, also uses songs. But there we have, the hero is carrying a cassette player, tape recorder in his hand all the time in the film, and he listens to songs, mainly popular songs. Here in this film, classical music has been used. The music of Bach, particularly when he goes for audition, then he has to play the music of Bach, as it is said, Toccata in E minor. And the title of the film itself has come from a song, a French song. So it's a kind of tribute to popular songs as well as classical music. Yes.
Even in Emilia Perez, dance is also used. So it's a combination of very many artistic elements. Of course, I have got some kind of what you call differences about the ending of the film, that Emilia Perez. Of course, that's a different story altogether. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay sir and Murli sir, for talking about music. And Sanjay sir has brought to light some very nice observations about music in this movie, so which I was not aware of. So thank you so much. You there, Andy?
Yes. Madhurima.
I don't really have a comment. It's a very new kind of film for me. I've not watched much of French films anyway. But one of the questions I had, Sanjay sir already answered. I was willing to know if the guy was actually conversing, trying to learn Chinese. I don't know French or Chinese, so I cannot easily distinguish between the two. Uh, but I felt like it was, I mean, from what I felt, it felt more like the other way around. It was like the girl trying to pick up friends. So that was one thing that I wanted to know about the film. Other than that, the film was a very new experience for me. And another point that I was a bit confused about what Nikhila ma'am asked, whether he actually became a pianist or not, because to me it felt like he was just the scene when he was actually giving some directions to the stage people. It felt more like, it didn't feel like he became a pianist. It was more like maybe as a hobby, but not as a performer like the Chinese pianist. Yeah, but thank you, ma'am, for introducing the film to us, and thank you, sir.
Yeah, in fact, Madhurima, I agree that I also felt that towards the end, he's working as a what we call impresario, that manager of music player. So basically, in one of the scenes, and earlier scenes, if you remember, he says that he wants to become impresario. And the man asks him, "What do you do in your life?" Then he says that he places rats in the flats, and that is a kind of very humorous scene. In fact, the black humor has been used here. And then, from the expression of his face, we can see that he knows, oh, this fellow does such things, and how come he has come here for audition. So, and yes, basically, I believe that he becomes impresario of his Chinese girlfriend, who erstwhile piano teacher, because in the conversation in the car, he says that there is someone has called, and there is some program, so he's fixing that program, whether she'll be available on that day or not. They are discussing that. So indirectly, it seems he has become impresario of this Chinese girlfriend. And
but many of the things in the end part, I felt that the subtitle was not enough. Like it felt like there was something more in the French.
And as far as his learning of Chinese is concerned, in one of the scenes I saw, when he's in kitchen, he's drinking tea, and then he says something in Chinese, da, I don't know, something which
Isn't that French? I felt like he was teaching French. Like she said something like glass when he showed the cup, and he
Yes,
said,
yes.
no, it is wrong, it is cup. I
Yes.
felt like one instance where he might have picked up Chinese was she was trying to explain in Chinese about something related to playing the piano, how he was doing it wrong. And I felt like he was trying to understand that in Chinese.
Yeah,
But I don't know either of the languages.
yeah, Madhurima, I think that you were right. He was not very active in learning Chinese, but and he was teaching her French, and she had to learn French in the end. That's true. But like, for example, there are a lot of Chinese symbols in the movie. And for example, in her house, there is family photo of her parents, and there is, what do you call in Buddhism, you have that lucky, what is, sir, Sanjay sir, what is that called, in which you place your hand on it and then you move it and it brings you luck, that Buddhist symbol.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've heard, but I don't remember. Yes.
Yeah, and then ta, that is like you have to play the piano softly for softness. Tha, I think that's what it was. And I would like to personally believe that like you have to have some knowledge of piano in order to act as an impresario for somebody else. So I would like to believe that, okay, he did not become an official piano player, but he did improve his skills in it. So because he was himself playing the piano, so, and the person who was addressing him as Mr. Sayer was talking very respectfully to him. So, I would like to believe so. His goal of playing piano either completely or partially has come true.
Yes, in fact, because Mr. Fox also, he has a very good knowledge of music, in fact, piano, because he can understand that whether he's playing it properly or not. So in a way, well, it serves him learning piano. Finally, whether he becomes actually a performer in a concert, or he becomes an impresario. And I really like the point raised by Fabian regarding the hand, the use of hand. Even if in the other film, the fingers, in 1978 film, which was, a source of inspiration for this film, making a remake of this film. Even the title is Fingers, but in fact, in this film, fingers have been used more skillfully, as shown. And the hand, like I can think of some of the films, Peau Douce of Truffaut, where the hand has been used, like this, several close-ups like this. I still remember. And one of the films of Robert Bresson also, where there is The hero is a pickpocket. They're also very, the delicate use of, though for a different purpose, for picking up purse, wallets, and all that. Here, there is a kind of stiffness in his body. In several scenes, we see that the piano teacher is, trying to mold his body. In fact, in mind, he has decided that he has to finally, become a good piano player and move towards music rather than continuing in the old profession of his father. So he has made up his mind, but his body is still not responding favorably. So in this film, it has been shown through his body that how gradually from stiffness, it is acquiring a kind of suppleness, which is shift from his hardcore, this kind of profession where he is a realtor towards a music player, so a piano player. So
Yes, sir, you are totally right, sir. Especially the last point, I feel it's very profound because, and this movie, it's a film noir, but it actually reminds me of yogic lifestyle, the way we go from tamas to rajas to sattva. So, like, I used to visit a yoga ashram when I was a kid, and I'm still in touch with them, and it's Bihar School of Yoga. So there your body is very stiff, initially when you come to an ashram of yoga, your body is very stiff, but with yoga asanas and practices, it becomes very flexible and soft. So that's why they say that you have to let go of the impurities which are there in your body, and then you go from tamas to rajas to sattva. And I mentioned it in my paper also, research paper, that it is this journey. So, and it's very important how Orientalism, the Orient is being used to guide the West in this direction, which I found very interesting.
Sunaina, you were referring to that wheels, no? They're called in Buddhism, they're called as prayer wheels or money wheels.
Yes, so they are showing Chinese culture also. So it's not. I would like to believe that they are also giving emphasis and respect to the culture of the East.
And there is also the symbol of Dharma Chakra, as it's called in Buddhism. So
Yes,
I think you were referring to those things.
Yes, Dharma Chakra.
Yes, anyone else? Arakeshwar, sir?
Nothing to say much. Everything has been discussed, I think. But if the ending is ambiguous, we don't have to have a resolution about it. So we can keep the ambiguity as it is. Whether he himself has become a pianist or a manager, uh, keeping that ambiguity, we can discuss the film anyway. So, because it doesn't add much to the thematic thing, but only in terms of the character, what he wanted to be and what he ended up. That difference it will make, resolving this ambiguity.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to note that the transformations are possible, and then not just the music here. Music is only a tool. The transformation happens because of a lot of things. He has lost his mother. Now he is on the verge of losing his father, and he also lost the friend because that friends also turn tables on him. And then he's in love with that married woman, but she also refuses to entertain him beyond certain limit. says that he is my husband, so I have to be. So in that sense, he is, there's a rejection from different quarters, from the business partners, and then the business is also not working. Uh, Many of the ideas, plans are flunking, and then the father has done something, and there's some other bigger shark who's more violent, who could um, beat up his father too. That kind of guy, a Russian guy, is also there. So all these, I think, all these things push him towards uh, accepting a different path. So, and again, that is quite interesting. When he has taken a different path, after 2 years, again there's a uh, spark in him to take that revenge for what happened to his father. So that is, as soon as he sees that fellow, he beats him up. So it's in that sense a kind of cyclical. The violent streak has not yet gone. It has come back at the end. Uh, but whether it's once he takes out that vengeance, in whether he kills him or not, again let it be ambiguous. So once he takes out that violence on him, again does he become cool and calm? Are there no other violent streaks in it? There are no other memories. So memories are more fickle. It's not like linear. Uh, you move from Thomas to something else. The way the memories and the circumstances shape a particular character is what I think we need to look at. Um Rather than simply looking at it as a kind of linear transformation of a particular character moving towards enlightenment, uh, riding on the music. And I don't think music can be therapeutic. Yes, it can have its impact on us, uh, but trying to uh, give the credit to the music is also problematic. There are within the narrative itself, there's not enough evidence to say that. But music was within him and it was attached to his mother. That memory is actually pushing him towards the music in that sense. So there's somewhere that kind of filial relationship that he had with his mother and then his father is a violent streak. Both he is trying to manage in this uh, film, I think. So this conflict between uh, the music which is associated with father, mother, and the uh, violent streak that is associated with his father and the business. Both are is trying to, this character is trying to manage. And even at the end, if you assume that he has become a manager of that Chinese artist, um that is also quite interesting. It's a business of arranging the orchestra and then the fixing the remuneration for it and things like that, negotiating with it, but also associated with music. So in that sense, he's trying to manage these both streaks, which he has picked up from his childhood within the family. I think that would be a more um, nuanced way of looking at things. But of course, I do agree with what all of you have said about the film. Thank you for suggesting the film and also for the discussion.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I believe that thank you so much for giving a very different opinion, and because dissent is very important here, and I respect that. But I feel that it's not just about memories. One, personally for me, like my passion is French, right? So my passion is French, and whenever I am low or whenever I am in a negative state of mind, haunted by memories or traumatic past, then I go to French radio, I listen to French. And for this reason, because of my love for French, I chose to become an assistant professor in French. So I think that music is I would like to disagree with you on this fact, that I feel that music is an enabler in this movie, and it helps him move past his traumatic past. I think so. What does Sanjay sir think?
Yes, I mean, well, I've already said what I had to say regarding the effect of music, like, but Tarkeswar sir has a slightly different take on this. And yes, there are so many other factors. That is true. Also, the memory has also an impact on him because, in fact, when the first time when he notices, it was just by chance that he is driving on the road and he notices Mr. Fox. And then he has not been going to the concerts. When he asks him that, did you hear him playing music last time? He says yes and no, confused answers, because he left music last, in the last 10 years, he has almost left music. It seems his mother died 10 years ago. So
He has been practicing at home. Remember, he
and
has
he
all
was
these instruments and
Hmm.
computer and piano player, and he tells the person he had gone to an audition for that I do practice at my place for my friends and others.
So I think it's a combination of several factors. So where this is also kind of business that when he becomes an impresario, so it's like a continuation of his profession in one sense. But of course, it is based on the sense of his music, on his competence to understand music, because even Mr. Fox, he can find out whether someone is playing well or not. And to finance for whom, you have to decide, and for that you should have very good understanding of music. So in a way, I mean, he's coming to the point where he can play piano, that we have already seen in the film, that he has learned to play, and he has some business sense, getting from the family, from his father. So it's a combination of both. There are so many other participants who haven't expressed their views so far. I would like to hear from them. Rasha is here.
Yes, I don't have much to say. I'm very interested in the discussion and I really enjoyed watching the film. And I wanted to say something about since we're talking about music, there's an interesting other use of music in the film where it's not very therapeutic. It's really linked to some psychopathic kind of acts when his friends or his former friends go and to kick out those people who lived in the building, and that man turns on the music, and this connection of violence and music was very in a way juxtaposing the way music plays a role in the life of the hero. So that was interesting. One of my favorite things in the film was the interactions between the Chinese piano teacher and the hero. uh, I really like that I don't know who did the subtitles, but whether they knew Chinese or not, but that not having the subtitles was not very problematic. I felt that, even without knowing the language and the characters not understanding each other very well, but still there was some kind of, connection. So I thought that was very interesting. And it doesn't matter who tries to learn the language of whom, but that was my favorite part of the film. And also, I believe Geeta ma'am talked about the trauma and the family trauma that one aspect in the film is how the hero could not actually, was hesitant at some points to pursue his dream, if we want to call becoming a pianist as a dream, was the kind of duty that he feels towards his father, a kind of parenting your parent, and how that affects him. And how he's always worried about his father and asking even his fiance who broke up with him to go back to him just so that he can keep an eye on him. So it doesn't have to do much with the masculinity versus the femininity sides of the character or every human being, as much as it has to do with the kind of guilt that is carried within children whenever they feel that they have to take care of their parents. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Rasha. Well, I wanted to ask this question regarding the initial sequence of the film where Sami, his business partner, I mean the business partner of Toma, is telling about his father. What is the significance of this conversation on the rest of the film?
Sir, I believe that his colleague, it's all about like I feel it's all about whether you overcome your childhood trauma or not. And some of us remain trapped in the trauma for the rest of our lives and choose careers which are aligned to this trauma, right? So, but this our main hero overcomes that and he goes to the other end. So I think it is the setting. I think the scene sets the theme of the movie. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Sridhar has discovered that it's a remake of 1978 American film. Thank you, Sridhar. We have already discussed about it. It has already been told by several other participants. Because in that film, the mother is still alive in Fingers. That American film, the mother is still alive. Here, mother is dead. But in that film, I saw that there are scenes which are dragging on and on without any further, evolution. What is happening finally? And most of the time, he is alone in the earlier film, Fingers, 1978 film, and here he is with his friends or business partners and other people. There he's carrying the radio, I mean the cassette player all the time. But what happens in Fingers that he is like he's a businessman or he's a realtor and he's a music player. That's all, side by side. But in this film, there is a shift from realtor to music player. So there is a kind of evolution in this film. And in that film, alternately, he's fighting and then playing music. That we have seen in several popular films. So I think it's a more, I would say, intelligent way of making film, which Jacques Audiard has done. Because I felt that every scene is significant. Every scene is connected. It is adding to the evolution of the plot, to the narrative.
Sanjay, coming back to your question about the significance of that first conversation about the father, I was thinking it's like clearly as we go on in the film, clearly he can see his father not completely in control, making demands that are unreasonable on the son. Even when it's it's not his fight, the father expects him to take it up. So it is like the parent demands as if it's a kind of payback time. So in that sense, the kind of fear that evokes in the son in the beginning, that's what we get to hear. So where the father becomes like a child, and throughout it is those demands that fatherhood, filial love keeps making, even against his good sense. So he has to do certain things even when he does not want to do that. So I thought that conversation is kind of interesting in setting a stage to the kind of irrational, unreasonable demands that filial love kind of imposes on children. It's a very a conversation which is I mean, it's not usual to talk about one's parents in that way, but it's very, very interesting that the film chooses to begin like that, I would think. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Nikhila. Actually, I also felt that, in the beginning, Sammy is talking about his father. So this is something which is going to happen to Toma. So Thomas' father is also almost going to behave like Sammy's father. He becomes like a child and he asks, okay, he has a girlfriend, he wants to marry. So he's asking his opinion on everything he's going to do. And what Sammy has already felt, probably Toma is going to face. That is the beginning of the film, which foreshadows things to come. Yeah, thank you. There are others who haven't yet expressed their views. Okay, Fabian. To my view, the father has a toxic personality. The kind of French slang he uses is very vulgar. Yes, the language. In fact, one could study. I've seen some of the research scholars studying the way slangs are translated into English. So the kind of slangs which the father is speaking, Robert, the father of Thomas. So yeah, in fact, it's full of violence that is probably in keeping with his job of realtor, kind of harsh life he has been living. Yes.
No, I think that father character is also quite interesting. He has this violent streak, but he's almost lyrical when he talks about his that model girl to his son. But of course, how it ends up that relationship and that model complaining to the son about how he used to treat her and why she doesn't want to go back to him. It shows that. But again, at that particular point, it was more. He was in awe of that lady that she wants to live with him. So that uh, wanting something from that lady, and we wanted to be in a romantic relationship with her, also shows something about that character. And about the subtitling, I think not subtitling the Chinese was uh, good, because the audience will not understand what the French character is feeling. So audience were put in the context of uh, the French character as well as the maybe the French audience, because if it is not there in the original uh, subtitle, it has been added now. Uh, what this French audience did not get, why should we get? Is an interesting thing. And because there was no subtitle, I think we get the way we understand the situation becomes more poignant. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Targeshwar. This is Fabian again talking about his hatred for immigrants. I mean, Robert's hatred for immigrants. He says, so I'm just reading what Fabian has written. For example, the father has a very vulgar and racist way to design the migrants that uh, that rent his restaurant. He calls them couscous, which means the national Arab. Yeah, couscous, as we know that this dish. Even nowadays, it is popular in France. So it's a kind of derogatory term that he uses against the migrants. But what is interesting is that his son, I mean Thomas, who is the hero, there is a shift in his personality. Because finally it's an immigrant who becomes his girlfriend. And yeah, I agree with Tarkeshwar sir when he was saying that there was no subtitle given for the audience. It is good in a way because it is the same, the audience will be in the same situation as the hero Toma. He doesn't understand. What is important is that even without understanding each other's language, they can still communicate. There is something through the gestures or through the body language, through the context, that we can still understand each other, even if there is a linguistic barrier. And they're even trying to, even in fact, at least even if we say that Toma is teaching her French, whether he is learning how much Chinese, we don't know, but at least there is an attempt to bridge that gap. And then since the piano teacher has to live in France, she is learning, she has motivation for learning French also. So then if we don't give subtitles, then audience is not in a more advantageous position. So the audience is also observing their gestures and trying to see how Toma behaves, how he reacts.
Yes, sir, I totally agree with you. The way the fact that he chose a Chinese as his partner says a lot about his transformation, I believe. And also the house, Tharakeshwar sir is right in saying that he is the father is an interesting personality, because his house, I observed that his house was very different from his personality. If you look, there are paintings with paintings of people with no heads. So I was very curious to know why it was like this, why there was a painting like this in his room.
Thank you, Sunaina. Any other observation? Yagyashree. Yes, Fabian is thanking for choosing this film. How do you see black humor in this film? In lots of places, and in the tragic situations, even there is humor, comic effect. That when they are placing rats in the apartments, and then Sami himself is bitten by the rats. So he's placing, and then he asks that, why do you place rats when you are yourself scared of them? And then so many funny instances, in fact. I mean, and not only funny, but funny in a tragic situation. So playing music, for example, when they are driving away all the squatters or the families who have been living there in the flat, and then he asks, okay, you play music. That's also a comment on, what Toma is going to be. Toma is going to be a musician. And the other fellow, Sami, doesn't feel that music is so important. It can be just a hobby. You can just, when you are free, and you can indulge in it, but then you have to come back to the business. So music is just a kind of activity to be done in the leisure time. And he uses the word piano in plural, and that's also funny when he says, I'm not going to sell pianos. I mean, it's not in that sense. I have one piano. Thomas says that I'm going to play it, okay, not, and he also uses the word art. It is art. It's not about business. So the way Toma looks at this realtor business and music, and the way his partners like Sami and Fabrice, they're quite different.
So I feel they even mock at him for in one of the scenes in the
Yeah.
second half. They also mock at him for his love for music. I feel that when they play music while they are trying to oust the migrants, then they are also making fun of music. But it's okay. I mean, he understands that this is what he would like to do, and he sticks to it. And what is funny that he marries a migrant. I mean, he chooses a migrant as his partner, while in the beginning he was throwing migrants out of their makeshift home. So this was funny, I feel.
Yeah, Fabian is saying, is any one of you a fan of David Lynch? It would be so nice to discuss on a David Lynch film. Yeah. She's suggesting for a discussion on his film. And Nikhila has already responded. Sure. Okay. So there are some more messages in the chat box. You may end it if, okay, fine. So it seems there are no further comments or observations or any question. Then I would just like to thank all of you, all the participants, on behalf of TFO Talking Films Online. And we are really thankful to Sunaina for not only suggesting this film, but also introducing Isha Kodia to us, and initiate the discussion, and give her very insightful observations. I really liked your way of analyzing the film. Very in-depth, enriching, and which finally led to a very interesting, compelling discussion. So thank you very much, all of you, and we will meet next Saturday at 9 p.m. with some other film. And I wish you a good evening and a very good Sunday. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Just a moment.